Imagine a country in ruins, entire cities reduced to rubble, millions displaced, morale shattered, and a nation disgraced on the world stage. That was Germany in 1945. But just a few years later, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, rose from those ashes to become one of the most prosperous and stable democracies in the world. How did this happen? One name stands at the center of this transformation: Konrad Adenauer. Rebuilding Germany, Adenauer's secret strategy. Today, we uncovered a story of a man who went from being imprisoned by the Nazis to becoming the architect of a new democratic Germany. This isn't just a tale of political skill, it's a story of vision, compromise, and a man who made decisions that shaped the future of Europe. Konrad Adenauer was born in 1876 in Cologne, part of the German Empire. A devout Catholic, a lawyer by profession, and a man of pragmatic conservatism, he was elected mayor of Cologne in 1917. He served with distinction, modernizing the city's infrastructure until the Nazis removed him from office in 1933. Adenauer opposed the Nazi regime from the beginning and was arrested multiple times during Hitler's rule. By the end of World War II, he was in his late 60s, yet his most important work was just beginning. After the war, Germany was divided into 4 occupation zones. The Western Allies, America, Britain, and France sought to create a stable, democratic state in their zones, while the Soviet Union entrenched its hold over the East. In 1949, the Federal Republic of Germany was officially established, and at the age of 73, Konrad Adenauer became its first chancellor. Adenauer's vision for Germany was clear: anchoring the country firmly in the West. He believed that reconciliation with France, close cooperation with the United States, and integration into European structures were the keys to ensuring Germany's stability, security, and prosperity. But this was no easy task. Germany was devastated, its people demoralized, and its economy barely functional. The Marshall Plan, a massive American aid program, offered Adenauer an opportunity. But aid alone wasn't enough. He appointed Ludwig Erhard, a liberal economist, as Minister of Economics. Together, they introduced the social market economy, blending capitalism with strong social protections. It was a radical idea at the time, and it worked. Within a few years, Germany's economy boomed, so much so that the phenomenon became known as the Wirtschaftswunder, or economic miracle. But Adenauer's strategy wasn't just economic. He made controversial political choices. One of the most difficult decisions he faced was whether to reintegrate former Nazis into society. He believed that complete exclusion would destabilize the fragile state, so he allowed many former party members to return to civil service and government roles. Critics accused him of moral compromise, but Adenauer defended his choices as necessary for unity and pragmatism. In 1955, Adenauer achieved a major diplomatic victory. West Germany was admitted into NATO. This marked a turning point. Germany was no longer a pariah, but a crucial part of Western defense against the Soviet bloc. That same year, he also managed to secure the return of thousands of German POWs from the Soviet Union, an emotional triumph that solidified his popularity. His relationship with France was another cornerstone of his legacy. Alongside French President Charles de Gaulle, Adenauer laid the groundwork for what would become the European Union. Their 1963 Élysée Treaty symbolized a reconciliation few thought possible just 2 decades after a brutal war. His leadership helped turn enemies into partners. Adenauer served as chancellor until 1963, 14 years in power. During that time, he faced numerous crises, rearmament debates, tensions with East Germany, and domestic protests. But through it all, his unwavering belief in democracy and Western integration guided his decisions. He was also a shrewd political operator. He co-founded the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, which became the dominant force in post-war German politics. He mastered coalition building and had an instinct for public opinion. But behind the stoic demeanor was a man deeply shaped by war, faith, and loss. Adenauer's personal life reflected his resilience. He lost his first wife in 1916 and later remarried. His children remembered him as strict but deeply committed. He worked long hours, even into his 80s, and remained politically active after stepping down as chancellor. He died in 1967, but his legacy remains. Modern Germany, its democracy, its economic power, and its place in the European Union owes much to his vision. He rebuilt not just a country, but a national identity rooted in peace, law, and cooperation. Konrad Adenauer's strategy wasn't flashy. It didn't rely on revolutionary speeches or charismatic theatrics. It was quiet, calculated, and incredibly effective. And perhaps that is why it succeeded. When we talk about rebuilding after catastrophe, we often look for dramatic gestures. But sometimes, true transformation comes through persistence, pragmatism, and a deep understanding of history. Adenauer knew that for Germany to have a future, it had to confront its past, not through vengeance, but through reconciliation. The next time we think about post-war miracles, remember this: behind every headline of economic revival or political breakthrough, there's often a leader working patiently behind the scenes. Someone like Konrad Adenauer, whose secret strategy was simply to believe that a better Germany was still possible.